Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that one of our admin, and she helped us with that translation. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. The message that I have for you, it reads like this. Hello, how are you? Can you please post my own story as anonymous? I am a South African man and I did these money-making rituals, and when I did those rituals, I honestly never thought that they were for real, but later on I then realized that there was something which was even more. I had to sacrifice my own mother. You know why I sacrificed my mother? It was because of my other friend. This man, he had bought a Mercedes Vito, and he was someone that was making money through the government. He had bought it and it was very beautiful, and I loved it with all of my heart. Even the very first day when he said that he wanted us to go out, it was with these 4 beautiful women. I had never witnessed such a thing, a man to sleep with 4 women, those that are really beautiful, those cheese girls that are born in money. And then all of them, 4 of them, they become your girlfriends and they don't even fight against each other. It was like I was watching something that was straight from heaven, and I wanted to be part of it. At that time, I was dating this old Magogo, an older lady that I was dating, and she used to think that she was much more special than me, and she used to cheat on me, and because I was poor, there was nothing that I could do about it. And yet here I was looking at my friend with those beautiful women that was so beautiful, and I had never seen so beautiful ladies like that before. So we had the weekend. Whilst we were enjoying, he gave me another woman whom he said he used to date, and she was very beautiful. And that woman then said that she was only sleeping with me because of my friend, and she was not interested in me because I thought that maybe we were going to date. I knew that indeed such a lady would never date a man like me, and we slept together throughout the night, drinking alcohol, crying. It was such a beautiful thing. For 2 days we were at my friend's mansion. There were other guys that were there as well. I had never had such a nice time like ever since I had been born. And then I returned back to work. It was on Monday when I returned back to work. I was feeling it because of the alcohol that I had drank throughout the weekend, and then I went to sleep. When I closed my eyes, that was when I saw these Zim guys. I was working at Joburg Industrial Park, and I was guarding these other warehouses. It was 2 of them that belonged to some Indians. So whilst I looked for a place where I could hide from the Indian guy, because he had the habit of coming and checking up on me, and I was too much on babalas, and I had bought a black label that I went with to work so that I can drink to at least feel better, because I was experiencing a very terrible but nice headache that you get after you have drank a lot of Hennessy. It is different, the headache. So I could not afford to remove that babalas using another Hennessy, but all that I could afford was a black label. So I just drank a little bit. I felt like vomiting, and I said, let me go to sleep. And then that was when I saw some Zimbabwean guys. Those were guys that were stealing copper cables. It was in 2015. When I saw these guys, it was 6 of them, and I was really scared. I shined my torch on them, trying to be brave, but their leader, a man whom I later started calling him Boss T, he laughed at me and he said, are you trying to be a hero? He said in his broken isiZulu, just for 3,000, how much are you making, man? And I was really scared, for I said, these people, they are going to kill me. They said I was supposed to switch off my torch and I was supposed to kneel down. They came to me and then they told me that for my punishment for everything that I had done by trying to scare them, they wanted me to personally dig up for the copper cables whilst they would watch me. That was when another guy, a Mozambican, stepped out and he said, Boss T, no, let us not do this to him. So they were just calling him Zeda's Cobra, Jaw of Snakes. And this guy, he had some fingers that had been cut off. I really do not know. This man, he said, no, let us not do this. He spoke with them. And after that, that was when he said that he wanted to help me because he knew that I was as poor as he used to. He said that when he had came to South Africa, he struggled a lot and he understood the type of struggles that I was facing. He was working once as a Machingilan. This guy, he was a Tonga speaking man, but from Mozambique. From the way that he spoke, you would even think that he's South African. It was just that those Shona guys, they were the ones that spoke in broken isiZulu accent. And then they took me to the place where they wanted to take the copper. They showed me how they take the copper, and we became friends. To tell you the truth, after they were done stealing the copper, then that was when they took some straps and they tied me down, and then they removed my shoes, and they said that they had to do this so that I won't get in trouble, but they never paid me anything. Even though they had promised me that they were going to pay me, they just asked me where I was staying and I told them. So me and those guys, we started communicating, especially with the guy that was from Mozambique. I then traveled with him to Mozambique after he had told me that they use a snake. This snake, whenever they wanted to rob a place where there is a security guard, they just release that snake. This snake, it will make the security guard to go to sleep and he won't even hear anything. Even the alarms, the alarm, you used to laugh and say that the alarm will just sleep. It won't even do anything. We will take whatever that we want, and by the time when we are gone, that is when you will wake up. So I told him that I also wanted a snake. He said, this snake, do you know how we feed this snake? This snake, it is very dangerous. He then took me to the river. He had some chickens, and I watched him as he fed the chickens to the snake. And he said that if I could do something like that, I was going to be able to become rich, but it was going to take a sacrifice. I told him, after he had asked me why I wanted to do these rituals, I told him that I wanted a Mercedes Vito bus and I wanted money. He said, how about your mother's blood for money? I said, hey, my mother's blood, but anyway, it is fine. I had already made a decision. When someone wants to do ukutwala, they will just make a decision. The grudge that I had with my mother, it was because my mother, she was from Bochum and she had came to Joburg. She was working as a domestic worker. She met my father, and then after that, my mother, she ran away and she returned back to her village, and she never even returned back. So I grew up being insulted by my father's new wife. It was never nice. That is what made me to leave my father's house at a young age, and then I started working also from a young age. So when I was told that this was the only way that I was going to be able to make money using my mom's blood, that is what I decided to do. So I was told that I had to go to my mom and to meet her, even though it had been a very long time without ever seeing her. But I traveled when I had gotten my off at work, and I went to visit my mom in the village where she was staying there in Bochum at her house before she had passed away. She was very happy to see me, and then in the middle of the night, after I had stolen her mirror, you know, those small mirrors that women use when they are doing their makeup and looking at themselves, that is what I had stolen from my mom, and I had hid it in my bedroom that I was using when I was visiting her, and I returned back with that mirror, but I had used it in some rituals. I was supposed to break 12 eggs. I was supposed to do that in the middle of the night, and after I was done, I put it back in my small backpack and returned back to Josie. When I returned back, I then told that man that all was done. He then went with me to Mozambique, where we did the final ritual. I was given a long knife and I was told to pretend as if I was busy stabbing my mother after she had appeared in the mirror. She appeared and I started stabbing her and pouring some brown powder that had been given to me until there was blood all over that mirror and blood that was flowing on the floor, and I was told that my mom had passed away. And when I returned to South Africa, my mother's relatives, they had been looking for me and they said, "Where have you been, boy? Because we have been calling you for your mother is no more." I was not supposed to travel there and there. I was only supposed to travel after the money had been there in the magic bag that I had been given in Mozambique. It was a big traveling bag and I saw that there was money that was there. I was so happy to find out that there was money that had appeared and I bought what I wanted. It was a white Vito bus that I had always wanted. It was a 26 model with cream leather, and then I traveled all the way to visit my mother's sister. This was almost 6 months after her burial. In that 6 months, I was busy with slay queens. They were coming to me. It was a lot of them. So the rituals, for them to be complete, I was supposed to travel back to Bochum and I was supposed to steal my mother's underwear and I was supposed to wear them daily for 2 years. And each and every morning I had to kiss her and I had to drive to her grave once a year. And when I went there, unfortunately, Auntie Flora, she was so suspicious of me. And whenever I would try to enter into my mother's bedroom, she would follow me each and every time when I would be there. I returned back to Joburg. That was when the money dried up. I returned back to that Mozambican and I told him that the money was no more. And he told me that because I had not properly done the rituals, therefore the money was done. All the girls that I was dating, those girls, they left me. You know, the type of a job that I am doing now, I am working as a security guard at a nightclub because of some of the connections that I once had whenever I would go to different nightclubs in Sandton with my slay queens. I feel so hurt. Sometimes I see these girls, they come with their blessers and they choose to ignore me, yet I used to be a blesser when I was still making money. This is how I sacrificed my mother and I was unable to fetch her underwears because her sister was very suspicious of me. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our admin who helped us with this translation. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world.